Hi, everyone, and welcome to SAF Ready the Podcast here at the University of Waterloo, a reinvention of the original AFM Ready. Over the next few episodes, we'll have a variety of guests, students, faculty, and staff to let you in on all that the School of Accounting and Finance has to offer. I'm Sam, and I'll be your host. And we want to ensure that you're hearing everything that you want to know about the School of Accounting and Finance. So after listening to episodes, feel free to DM us on our variety of social chains, as well as email us at saf@uwaterloo.ca with any more questions, topics, or people that you want to hear from. Tune in soon for our next episode on Buzzsprout, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Today we have Nathaniel, and he is a current co-op student at the University of Waterloo, currently actually employed by the School of Accounting and Finance.
Hey, thanks for having me on here, Sam. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really excited to share some of my experiences as a co-op student at the SAF.
Amazing. All right, so we're going to do the age-old question, which is, tell me about yourself.
Oh, well, I don't know where to start with that one. I guess if we go back a little bit, I was born around here in the KW area. I grew up here for most of my really young life. I spent some time overseas, and then since then I've come back. And the University of Waterloo is a great school, and being local, I thought, hey, it's a great school. It's close to home, and that's how I ended up here. I'm actually enrolled in arts at the University of Waterloo. I'm taking a double major in political science and English, and this is my first co-op experience. So it was really nice to find a co-op that was at the school, kind of in my comfort zone. So
yeah, no, absolutely. That was actually my first question, is how many co-ops have you completed? So I guess kind of like to back off of that. How many co-ops will you have by the time you graduate? Do you know?
That's a great question. I'm pretty sure it's 4, but I have an 8th-month co-op in there as well. I'm pretty sure that's the way it is. I should probably know the answer to that question definitively, but I do not. So
yeah, no, I totally get it. But yeah, and just for all of you out there, the School of Accounting and Finance students, so in our AFM, SFM, Biotech, and Math CPA, all of those programs have 16 months of co-op. So you're looking at around 4 co-op work terms, and you have that opportunity as well to work with your academic advisor to make an 8-month opportunity available to you. However, that 4 co-op terms is like what you need to complete for your graduation. And then if you're hoping to apply to our CFM program, which is our Computing and Financial Management program, lots of acronyms. You're going to hear lots and lots of acronyms here at this school. They have one additional, I believe it's 20 months of co-op, because they start their co-op experience in first year, whereas all the other programs will start their co-op experience in second year. I know that's a big blab of information, but just wanted to keep you guys informed. So yeah, what has been your favorite part about co-op?
Well, I mean, this is a really interesting co-op because SAF students actually cannot do a co-op for the School of Accounting and Finance. So it's a little bit of an outsider perspective. And going in, I was a little bit worried that I'm like, oh boy, I need to know like numbers and accounting. And obviously that's what people in these programs are going to be interested in. But for this type of co-op job, it really doesn't involve that, which for me is a relief because I'm not a math guy. I'm not a numbers guy. And this is a type of job that really has been tailored to my strengths. I mean, I think both of our jobs was really focused on promoting the school and putting it out there. So this is part of that. I do lots of other social media stuff, and yeah, it's something that I am interested in and passionate about. My hobbies have been in that area for a long time, and so it's a co-op that has really been tailored to my strengths, and the whole environment here has been great. Yeah,
no, I think that's definitely something that like working here, I'm also one of the co-op students, just to give you guys a little bit of an in there. But yeah, no, it's been really interesting to like hear about the community that SAF offers. I think it's been something that I've been loving to learn about, and like hearing from students personally about like their experiences. You really get a lot of like understanding, and like it's crazy. Like I just think of all the events that we've been helping out work with, and like they just get like really fun activities to do and like ways to like meet each other. I think it's a really great program and a great opportunity there, which I think has been really cool to experience that through like a work term eyes, I guess.
Yeah, well, and it's a small program too, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a big draw for a lot of prospective students. I mean, I'm in an arts program that I had first year classes with like 800 kids in it.
Oh my goodness.
And you don't have that at the School of Accounting and Finance, which is really nice. So I feel like I've gotten to know like the staff, the faculty, the students in SAF better than I know my own departments, which is kind of, I don't know what that says about me, but I think that says a lot of really good things about this school. And the whole environment, like the vibe really is really positive around here. I've had a chance to sit down and talk with faculty, and it's different to talk to faculty from the perspective of not being a student.
Absolutely.
Like I am a student at the school, and so it's really interesting to interact with a profs from a different lens. But I love how approachable they are. The staff here is so approachable, and they really do. I mean, if my co-op is anything to go off of, they want to tailor my co-op experience to the things I'm interested in. And I think they take that level of care with everything they do with the students that they have as well, which is really awesome.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's also like just a big perk of like working for the university in general. So like if that's something that you're thinking about for your co-op, I know that a lot of the Waterloo Works jobs will come through and there'll be a lot of University of Waterloo positions. I know that a couple of my friends are also working for University of Waterloo for their co-ops. So yeah, definitely something to think about. And it's also just like that nice like comfortability of like, I know my way to work because I'm here every other time I'm on campus. So it's kind of like that additional like ease of like, especially it's also my first work term as well. So it's like that kind of like that sense of like comfort when you're stepping into a new environment, especially I think that being on the main campus was just another added bonus.
I agree completely. And, it's funny. I was a little skeptical almost at first. Like, obviously, the University of Waterloo is known for its co-op programs.
Absolutely.
And it's super a high employment rate. I mean, that's why you're coming here. And so when I saw just how many jobs the university was offering, I'm like, oh, like, is this kind of how they reach that employment threshold, right? Like, and I honestly was a little concerned about how real the job might feel, but then you get in and you start working with the staff. And I think I've realized just how much staff there is, like how many people work behind the scenes to make the school function. Like,
exactly.
It is not just a job so that you have employment for co-op. It's a real job, and it's shed light on a side of the university that I did not see, and it's been really excellent to work at those things.
Yeah, you definitely get that like that experience of like, wow, there's like multiple departments per faculty, and then there's also like, and we're just a school in the faculty, and not even to mention like then you get higher and higher, and you're like, and you're meeting like I'm in meetings with like 30 people for like these events at this, like it's so many people and so many like incredible people that are putting on all these like events and like making the school possible, and you just really get to like that inside scoop, I guess, in that sense. But yeah, we'll drift on to our next question. So would you say that co-op has helped you navigate through your understanding of what your future career will be like?
Having worked this co-op now, worked with events, seeing the type of events that are held, the people that are brought in, the networking opportunities, all those sorts of things. I mean, that in of itself has a huge impact on helping you figure out what you want to do for a career and opening doors for your career. And I think that's something that the SAF does a great job at, is bringing in people to let you network, build connections so that you know where you're going in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I think that like, I just think about some of the like the networking opportunities. Like we had, a lot of us were working at, they had CPA, CFA, CBV and auditing come in, and like they all had all these like professionals like in those industries come in and make those presentations, and like students had the opportunity to make those connections like during school time, which is like something that I think is such an invaluable resource to have, which 10 out of 10 there. Gotta love that. Can't go wrong, really.
and I think I underestimated the value of a lot of these events, because there's obviously my program holds events too, being interested in political science. That's another field like business where networking is really important.
Yeah.
And I kind of just overlooked these things as something that the university kind of puts on, maybe something that is not the best use of my time. And so being involved on the other end of it, where I'm helping make these events work, has really opened my eyes to just how valuable these experiences that the school is offering you are.
Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely. I think I now going into like my next year of school, I'm going to be like, I'm going to every event.
Yeah, I agree completely.
I'm going to be signing up like, yep, sign me up. Yep, I'm good. Let's go. Kind of like bringing it back from when we were talking about specifically working for the School of Accounting and Finance, just kind of the general understanding of the co-op process. So we at the University of Waterloo have a format called Waterloo Works, where you're more than welcome to apply for jobs that way. I believe that you got your job through Waterloo Works. Yes, amazing. Yeah, I also did as well. So yeah, do you want to just kind of explain a little bit about what Waterloo Works is and like kind of the process of it and just all that kind of the stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So Waterloo Works is basically Waterloo's own job board. It's where employers will post all of the jobs they offer, and you as students, that's certainly for your first co-op, your main springboard to finding employment. It can be a little bit intimidating at first, and it definitely it can be scary. It can sometimes be a little bit difficult, but I think it gives you the opportunities to get employed. So it's not a perfect system. I want to be honest with you guys about that, but that's how we both got our jobs. So it's still very valuable, even if it can sometimes maybe not be the most enjoyable. I think just applying for
jobs in general
30, 40 jobs,
enjoyable.
doing cover letters, all that sort of stuff, it's not always the most enjoyable thing.
Especially when you're like stressed out and like the pot, like you need a job or like, and that's just also like kind of just what comes with applying to jobs in general is like, you're like, oh, I need a job.
Yeah.
Like whole process, like, oh my goodness, I need to find a job. And also just like when you graduate, like I feel like it's just similar feelings. Like applying to jobs is not the most fun experience, but at least it's a tool that kind of helps you, especially for that first one.
Yeah, and it gives you a way to do it in-house. They have a system that helps you get matched up with the best employers. I mean, you have so many job opportunity. I mean, there's literally thousands of jobs that are posted there. Ways to filter through that content so that you can see the job posts that are relevant to you. The employers know they're working through Waterloo Works. The students know they're working through Waterloo Works. So yeah, from that end of things, it's a very valuable tool, even if it's not perfect for helping you find that first job.
For those of you that are listening, if we look a little bit different than the beginning section, it's because it was torrentially pouring and it has since the sun has come out. So we had to adapt the lighting and everything to accommodate that. Yeah. So just kind of like breaking down, I think like just kind of like breaking down what co-op is. I think it's like we hear that term a lot when we're like applying and when we hear about it as students. So I think it's just nice to like have that basis of like, this is what it's like. You apply to jobs. There's multiple rounds. You get the opportunity to apply. I believe it's in like the first round, it's like 25 or 50. And then it just keeps increasing from there. I think also like not a misconception, but I think that's something really important to note about co-op is that it is guaranteed that you're involved in that you're enrolled in a co-op program. You have to put in the work to get a job.
Yeah. Definitely students should not underestimate that. You're not entitled to a job being in a co-op program.
Yeah.
You know, your resume and your experience is what will put you on the map and get you out there. And so definitely coming into school, I mean, if that's something you don't have experience with, don't fret because this school gives you, I mean, that's what Waterloo Works is for.
Yeah.
That's what going to university is for, is to get you on your feet. But at the same time, you know, if you do have experience already, and this does not have to even be job experience. If you have volunteered, worked at camps, like all of those sorts of things look really good on a resume. For example, for me, as I mentioned earlier, saying, you know, this kind of social media stuff, video stuff has been a hobby of mine. I have a YouTube channel that I've had for 10 years. And for the resume that I handed in for this job, that was at the top. And I have lots of other job experience, but quite honestly, you know, the years that I spent cutting grass at a camp isn't relevant to this co-op and my 10 years of experience of a hobby that I take very seriously was. And so I think, and this is where your co-op advisors will help you with this as well. But you shouldn't be afraid to be like, oh, I just have to put my work experience on my resume.
Yeah.
Like you want to put relevant experience and information on your resumes and cover letters. It's not all about what specific jobs you've done in the past. It's what experience do you have that's connected to what you're applying for, or where does the interest that you have in what you're applying for come from? Because an enthusiastic or a seemingly enthusiastic co-op student, I think, will get a job, 10 times out of 10 versus someone who walks into an interview and doesn't, maybe they're a genius and they're really good at whatever the job they're applying for is, but if they don't seem like they care, employers are going to look for someone who clearly shows their passion and interest in whatever they're applying for.
And that kind of like brings me back to the point of like, where getting involved is such a huge part of university and a huge part of the SAF as well. I've been hearing so many things from students. Like if you tune into our episode that Chloe talks about ACE consulting, there's tons of clubs that the SAF and just like the school, like the University of Waterloo in general, offers that can help you gain that experience, especially when you're looking for that first co-op and you're like, I haven't worked before. Like this is like new for me. Joining clubs that are similar to something that you want to do is like one of the easiest ways to get some experience, even if it's not paid. Like the ACE consulting group, we have our like ACE, like the previous DECA chapter, what was previously known as the University of Waterloo DECA chapter. You can be involved in the Q Suite. You can be involved in a variety of different clubs, all that like will have positions that you can set yourself up for to help you. Like say you're super into finance and you have a passion for, I don't know, volleyball, and you want to play volleyball, but they have a club when they need someone to be their chief of finance. You have that position. It's something that you're passionate about. It's volunteering, but it's something that you're still having fun with, but it's a great thing to add to your resume. So I think that like getting involved in clubs, obviously reaching your passions, and then it also just like helps you stand out. Like it really gives you that edge. Not necessarily, I guess how it's, and I feel like edge is a good word. It's a good word. Yeah. It's like that push to kind of like making you more desirable as a hireable candidate.
Yeah. So I think, clubs are a meaningful experience. I was just editing an interview with an alum from SAF who talked about how he got involved in numerous clubs, DECA, Model UN, things that, might not even immediately seem connected to the School of Accounting and Finance per se. Like, Model UN, you could say, oh, that's more politics, that's diplomacy, that's not financial stuff, right? But he talks about how that experience not only was valuable on his resume, but he actually took it into his real world job because, now he's working at EY, which is someone who is going to employ a lot of co-op students here.
Yeah, it's one of the big four.
They are a big co-op employer, right?
We call it the big four, the four main accounting firms, yeah.
And he said, having that political knowledge that he gained from Model UN is really valuable because, finances and markets are not necessarily something that you can divorce from political happenings. And so even there, like you realize that things that might not seem connected can still be very valuable experience, both on a resume and to then take forward into the real world when you've graduated as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's a really great point. Yeah, no. And I think there's like I think it's just like a misconception that like you have to have had these like paid experiences. I think there's just so much to be involved in. And also then you just really get to discover your passions. I also think that's a really great perk of co-op too. Like ours are like the way that it's structured in the SAF and like in the majority of Waterloo programs is that they're limited terms. So you don't have to be stuck in one job and that's your only co-op experience. Like, especially because like, I feel like asking a student when they're like 18 to be like, pick your life, go, is a huge ask.
And that's what I love about the co-op opportunity is the chance to try out different jobs. I mean, my next co-op is probably going to be completely different from this one. Not because I don't love what I'm doing right now. I actually genuinely am loving this job, but I go, hey, like I have the opportunity to try something completely different. I'm doing a double major. I'm going to do a co-op in a completely different field.
Yeah.
Because then I'll have had the experience of both and I'll be able to better know, what do I love? What don't I love? Because I might seem like I love this. I might really love this. And then something else might come along and I go, hey, this is even better.
Exactly.
And it gives you that opportunity. It gives you that flexibility, which is really great.
Yeah,
it's invaluable, honestly.
Yeah. Flexibility is definitely that's an excellent word to describe it. Cause I feel like also like, and not to say that this is everyone's scenario, it's not always this, but if you go to a job and it's not your dream come true, it's not your favorite thing you've ever tried out in your life, it's not your best job, then you get to like cross that off your list. I feel like it's a lot easier to narrow down what you want to do based on what you don't like than what you do like, because just because you have an interest in something doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the career for you.
And I think maybe one other important thing to say, since, we're talking about co-ops, the co-op experience and what that's like. I have, like I said, friends here who have done co-op programs who are farther along than me. And they maybe did a first co-op, they really liked it. Then they did a different co-op and they didn't like that as much. And so that reinforced that the first co-op was what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then their third co-op, they were back at the same place where they did their first one. And maybe their fourth co-op, they were back there again. And you should not underestimate, if you're a good worker, if you care about what you're doing, if you put the time in and if you're invested in the work you're doing, companies see that. And co-op is not just resume experience for when you graduate. There are so many co-op jobs that turn into full-time employment once you're done. Employers saying, hey, we want to hire you as soon as you're finished school because we loved what you did with us.
Yeah, especially in like your last one. I know
it is a direct path into the working world.
Yeah, and it's just like also like that sense of comfort, because then it could be like not necessarily the last time, but definitely the like a time where you've already done the application process and now you've already made those network connections that like you're done, you're set for a little while. Because obviously, like, if you want to explore, you still have that opportunity beyond your graduation. But especially now, like in the world we live in, I think that being able to have this and like a way to even get a job before you even graduated. I know that we talk about like some of our students who are involved in like the Student Venture Fund and the Student Investment Fund here at the School of Accounting and Finance. Like Jenny, one of our recent graduates, was hired before she was graduated to work in finance in New York. And like, obviously, like that's a really amazing and like wow experience, but like she's not the only story where like she was there, the student was hired before they graduated. Like there is a lot of cases where that happens. Not to say that's everyone's case. No guarantees. We are not infiltrating that this is a guarantee situation,
No.
But it is definitely something that has happened in the past, and it's definitely something that will happen in the future. So definitely something to keep an eye out for, especially when you're looking for that last co-op. Because also a lot of our students will also do returning co-ops. So say you have a job that's like you're loving, and like sometimes the company will ask for you to come back for your next co-op term. And like
sometimes they'll hire you on part-time while you're in school if that's something you're comfortable with as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure we have people on staff right now who are part-time who are also at the school because they like the job and SAF loved what they did here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like I know that for other, and it's not just like selective to like the School of Accounting and Finance or like the University of Waterloo. I have had people my friend worked in a health co-op, and she was able to just work remotely for them after she was done her co-op term. So it just in a part-time opportunity. So yeah, definitely something to think about. Thank you so much, Nathaniel, for coming in today. We sincerely appreciate it. And I think you gave us a huge insight into kind of the co-op side. I also think it's nice to have that little insider scoop on what it's like to be working at the School of Accounting and Finance, because you'll be seeing, especially with students like any of our students who are interested in becoming ambassadors when they get to their first, second, third year, fourth year, you'll be working a lot with the co-op students and also just the faculty and staff in general. So giving a little insight into what it's like as a staff member, not just like a faculty member, but a staff member is also a different experience to think about. But yeah, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, it's super great to be here. I'm super happy to share my experiences at the SAF with all of you. And hopefully for some of those of you who were on the fence, maybe this will help persuade you that this really is a great place to be.